Welcome to another episode of Have You Seen It? I am Charles, and I am with the absolutely beautiful Denise. How you doing today?
Wow, thank you. I'm doing very well. Thank
I'm
you.
loving the blouse. Right
Yeah.
now, I gotta say, I like the blouse, but it looks like somebody just started throwing stuff at
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It does look like either an abstract painting or somebody just took a bunch of paint and just threw it on me.
But it does suit you very well.
Thank you.
So, what you gonna recommend for me this week?
Okay, the movie I am recommending this week is Fatherhood, starring Kevin Hart as Matt, Alfred Woodard as his mother-in-law Marion, Lil Rel Howery as one of his best friends, Jordan, Anthony Kerrigan as his friend and coworker Oscar, and the absolutely adorable Melody Hurd, who plays Kevin Hart's daughter Maddie at the 5-year mark. And this movie starts off with Kevin Hart being thrust into fatherhood alone because his wife has passed away a day after she has given birth to their daughter. So, in addition to struggling with the loss of his wife, he now has the task of raising his daughter alone. And with that, as a parent, it comes with a lot of challenges. And the challenges that he faces, just to name a few, the crying, the endless crying. So there's sleep deprivation, and he has to enlist the aid of his two best friends to help him figure out how to stop the baby from crying. The diaper mishaps and how to deal with that. And all while holding down a challenging job. Paul Reiser plays his boss, who has great confidence in Matt's abilities to do his job at a high level, but he's got a balancing act with this young daughter. He also has an overbearing mother-in-law, played by Alfre Woodard, who is really over the top. And so those two kind of butt heads throughout the movie because he wants to raise his daughter alone and he wants to do it in his way, and she wants him to do it her way. So there you go. It is a family movie. It will tug at your heartstrings. It's touching. It's very relatable. And I'm not I can take Kevin Hart in small doses. When he's loud and obnoxious is when I like him the least. But when he's a little bit more laid back and relaxed, still playing his comedic self, but also able to play a more serious role. The combination in this movie was very balanced. And I enjoyed it. And when you see Maddie at 5 years old, oh my gosh, she is just a beautiful little girl. And I couldn't take my eyes off of her. She was just, when she comes onto the screen, you're like, whoa. So this movie is a strong recommendation. That's all I can say. It's a basic movie, a little predictable, but still very, very watchable and very likable. So my recommendation is Fatherhood, starring Kevin Hart.
Well, my recommendation for this week is Awake, starring Gina Rodriguez, Francis Fisher, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Jill, played by Gina Rodriguez, is a former Army medic, and she's a recovering addict who is a security guard at one of the local colleges, where she works in the department of a former colleague that she used to work for in the Army, Dr. Murphy, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh. Uh, After one of her shifts one night, she goes and picks up her kid, Matilda and Noah, from their grandmother's house, Doris, who's played by Frances Fisher. And as they were driving home, the power in her car goes out. So as they are walking back, they see the sheriff, and the sheriff tells them that power has gone out everywhere in town. So they go back to her mother-in-law's house, Doris, and they go there to spend the night. So they realize that night that none of them can go to sleep, except for her daughter, Matilda, who was sleeping like a baby. So Jill gets up the next day and goes to work, and there she sees Dr. Murphy, and Dr. Murphy advises her that no one can sleep anywhere. This was a pretty darn good movie, right? And my recommendation is Awake, starring Gina Rodriguez. Denise.
Yes.
Who's your nailed it this week?
My nailed it is none other than my homie from the DMV, Martin Lawrence, in the movie Big Mama's House.
Really, that's all you got to say.
I'm laughing and the movie's not even on. Martin Lawrence was so funny in this movie. One, because as Big Mama, as in his disguise as Big Mama and an undercover cop, his lust for Nia Long was just too funny. And the church scene.
Yes.
Anytime Martin Lawrence breaks it on down and dances to anything is absolutely hilarious. So, I mean, that's all I can say about that movie. I can see him now doing that dance in church, and I want to bust out laughing right now. So that is my nailed it. Martin Lawrence, Big Mama's House.
So my nailed it is Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson in Central Intelligence. I think this was really the first time they actually worked together, right? And Johnson, who's actually become pretty accomplished actor, right? And then Kevin Hart, usually you see him in really, he's just funny and he's really loud, like Denise had said in her review, right? But in this, these guys were perfect together, right? Kevin plays an accountant who was famous in high school and was voted to succeed, right? And now he's in a mundane job, right? And Dwayne Johnson was a fat kid in high school, and he turns out to be this muscular guy and turns out to be a secret agent. The whole movie was hilarious, but it was so hilarious because the chemistry between Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson was fantastic, right? So my recommendation, my nailed it, it's not my recommendation, but my nailed it is Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson in Central Intelligence.
All right, folks, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just make sure you hit that like button. And we're available on every podcast platform in the universe. Just type in, Have You Seen It with Charles and Denise? And there we will be.
Audience, thank you very much for joining us for another episode of Have You Seen It with Denise, my homie, and yours truly. And we are out.
Bye-bye.